let me clear my throat off mic.
It's hard to be off mic when there's a microphone 2 inches from you.
You know, that's what I say about my life.
Oh.
It's hard for me to be off mic.
Oh, that's your memoir title. Can't wait.
That's good, right?
Straight to paperback.
I think that that's good.
Yeah.
Straight to paperback. Evil. Wait, okay, so this is a good in. Hi, everybody. How are you? No, wait, I'm really curious.
Wait. You stop talking. I'm gonna do it.
No one is gonna understand this. No one's gonna understand this segue except me. But I want to ask: do you think you'll write a memoir one day?
No.
Really?
You
don't think that?
I don't like reading memoirs.
Oh, I love them.
I don't.
That's all I read.
No, I really can't stand a memoir. It's
probably not enough literature for you.
Well, we've created an atmosphere in this country where
everyone should write one.
Where it's like everyone's life okay, let me rephrase. Everyone has a story to tell, and it's like most people don't. Most people don't have a story to tell, and even I don't have a story to tell. I should not be writing a memoir. So
you don't think so?
I mean, it's like so many of these memoirs. It's just like you just want to be like, well, that's life.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. Maybe I liked the idea that, that lights me up, that anybody can like have a story. Anyone can be famous.
Yeah. That's called a diary.
It is. It's my diary.
Yeah, it's a diary. It's a diary.
I've been filling up a lot of notebooks here.
I know people like reading memoirs. I get it. But I personally don't enjoy reading memoirs.
Here's what I'll say, and it's a compliment.
Okay.
I think that you do have I would read your memoir. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to hear that story.
Okay.
But you don't want to write it.
No, I don't.
Wow. Heard it here first. Okay.
Heard it here first. Yeah, I don't have like that pivotal moment of being struck by lightning on a beach as a young child. So.
Where you shared like a very intimate first kiss.
Oh my God.
That was a lot to take on.
For lack of a better word, it was shocking. It was very shocking.
My mouth was agape. I was like, they did not have 2 10-year-olds do this.
It was so uncomfortable.
I was like hoping that their parent and or guardians were just off camera. But
yeah,
2002,
Miss Fanning was off camera.
Miss Fanning. It was really good to see her. Always good to see little Dakota.
Holding Elle in her arms.
Oh, I love them both. They're so good. I have sisters, and I'm like, we could never. Sad.
Well, yeah, that again, you need some like magical moment like that ties everything back together.
Yeah. So I can kiss you whenever I want.
Oh my God.
They going for the slow kiss. Well, I'm like too excited to talk about that opening scene, so let's like dive in. Sweet Home Alabama, our favorite year, 2002. How do you feel?
I mean, the amount of movies that were released in this year, and they're so different, and so many of them take place. This doesn't predominantly take place in New York City, but New York City is much like Sex and the City. The 5th character, it's like she's like a phantom limb in this movie.
I love a New York City movie. Obsessed. So happy to see her. This maybe like a lot of productions did get pushed from 2001 to 2002 because of
there must have also
history.
been some sort of like tax credit to film in New York City because
this was the made in New York
all of these
time.
2002 movies, they all take place in New York City. And it's like, well, I mean, obviously it takes place in Alabama, but it definitely takes place in New York City too.
No, yeah. And I thought this was going to be one of those movies where it's like bringing the boyfriend home for, to meet the fam. And I thought it was going to be everyone in one house in Alabama, but we do quite a bit of cross-cutting.
Yeah, this is one of those movies. This is one of those movies that I've told myself my whole life that I've seen. And now that I watched it, I said, haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
I remember this one coming out. I remember Sweet Home Alabama. Everyone was talking about it. There was commercials everywhere.
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon was America's like sweetheart.
I mean, much like a lot of other star vehicles that we've looked at, it's like the poster has also taken on a life of its own.
Yes.
That poster of her in her
Burned in my brain.
I'm like, whatever flag they have in Alabama, they should throw that out and just use this poster as the state flag.
Agree. That's a good idea.
But now, I didn't look this up, but I didn't know if it was like, I guess for my head, I'm like, is it like a chicken and egg type thing with the song? Was the song before the movie, or was the movie before the song? Now, I know the song is in the movie.
Fair.
I get it. I
Fair
heard
assessment.
it. And there's 2 versions, by the way. I prefer the one in the credits, sung by Jewel.
Oh,
But-
you like the make it a slow song.
It's dumb.
Whatever the mom's name was. Jean Smart, make it slow.
Yeah. It was, I couldn't place, and you know what? I'm going to say this. I think the song came first, for sure.
Yeah, you know,
I think it did.
you knew that. But
Yeah.
it's fun.
It takes on
think that it wasn't.
a new life. Yeah. Well, I was
I
just
think-
like, wow, like it's basically like it's like a Bond theme. Like it's hard to tell because they're always so perfect for the movie.
It's perfect. I know. It's like almost like they took the song lyric and put it as the title.
Right. But in my head, I'm like, it has to be the other way.
I think you've just illuminated for me. You've unlocked a memory. I remember being young, and it's like the first time I almost understood a reference. I was like, oh, like the song.
Yeah.
Sweet Home
Like-
Alabama, like the song. And I knew this, and I knew the song.
Yeah.
And that's always fun when you're young and you can like draw a parallel to something. I think
Right.
it's fun.
And then when the song played during the movie, I said, oh, like the movie that I'm watching.
Like the movie.
Like the movie.
Yeah, that's a fun little thing to think about.
Yeah.
What came first?
What can-
I agree with you. This should be the flag of Alabama. That poster is burned into my brain. I think that
Speaking of burning, though, I would not be surprised if Alabama required everyone to take their copy of this movie and burn it on their front lawn. I don't think this movie does a lot of service for Alabama.
it's a little anti-South,
You think? Even though
while also being pretty pro-South in a lot of
It's-
kind of grosser ways.
it's very tricky, the line, the impossible line that they weave in this movie.
That the impossible balance beam they've drawn up for themselves.
of being
teetering
both
at every
horribly
moment.
anti and horribly pro South.
Yeah, yes. It's
Oh, boy.
intense, but
It's intense.
they did a better job in 2002 than I would have thought. I would have thought it would have been like pride, pride, pride. Here's my Confederate flag, flag, flag.
There are Confederate flags in the movie.
There are. Oh yeah, trigger warning.
Yeah.
I take that
And
actually
Civil
pretty
War
seriously.
and Civil War iconography.
Civil War stuff.
But,
But they do a very tongue-in-cheek job with it.
Yeah, I think that for 2002, I think they were really trying to strike a balance of not disrespecting Alabama, but also trying to like poke some fun at the culture. I
Yeah,
think when you watch it now, it's really like it's definitely like problematic, but
Yeah.
I could see what they were going for.
Same. It was very tongue-in-cheek, like, you're a Yankee. That was like the whole vibe
Yeah.
of the movie. And, as New Yorkers, we're New Yorkers. I'm like, yeah, that's right. But
Yeah. But then they
Okay.
skewer those New Yorkers too.
they skewer everybody.
Everybody's-
It's a movie where we skewer everyone.
Okay. Okay,
right.
read the summary.
Let's do the summary. I have to do it on this computer. I have 2 computers, not to brag.
If only one of them worked.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, summary. New
Yeah.
York fashion designer Melanie, played by Reese Witherspoon, suddenly finds herself engaged to the city's most eligible bachelor. But Melanie's past holds many secrets, including Jake, played by Josh Lucas, the redneck husband she married in high school who refuses to divorce her. Bound and determined to end their relationship once and for all, Melanie sneaks back home to Alabama to confront her past, only to discover that you can take the girl out of the South, but you can't take the South out of the girl.
That's
I
right.
feel like I should do a take 2.
It's important. Why don't you get that last line one more run?
Yeah, let's get a clean run for the last line.
Yeah.
Bound and determined to end their relationship once and for all, Melanie sneaks back home to Alabama to confront her past, only to discover that you can take the girl out of the South, but you can't take the South out of the girl.
That's it. That's
Good
it.
job.
Do you hear the difference?
I do.
Yeah, it's important.
I do. It's an
Well,
important difference.
that's right. That is the plot of the movie. And when I turned the movie on, I guess whatever I was watching before, I had captions turned on. So when the movie started playing, it said up tempo bluegrass plays.
Oh, I should have had the captions
And
on
I was
sooner.
like, I turned it off right away. I was like, I can't do
okay.
this. But I was like, okay, that is the style of music. I didn't know that. So it was helpful for me to hear.
I actually have been enjoying putting captions on because sometimes I'm like half paying attention.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be like, oh, that's that character's name, Jake.
Yeah. And
I would have forgot.
There are two children on like a stormy beach.
It is dark too. It's like almost black and white.
It's really dark. It's really dark. Not like, I mean,
Yes.
it's dark thematically in one way, but it's also just like, I can't see these characters. Like, it's so dark.
Where are you?
And the only thing that I could think during this scene was like, is this romantic? Like, to watch two 10-year-olds like make a life pact to each other and kiss during a thunderstorm?
I know out of all the problems with this film, this is probably my number one most uncomfortable.
And it's like, there's a difference, I think, between like playground, like, you're my boyfriend, and then like one of the two like gives a kiss to the other and they're like, ew. But this was very much like, they were like making it romantic. It was very uncomfortable.
It was so uncomfortable. The only thing what this felt like was the director shot the scene with adult Reese and adult Jake and then told the kids, study up.
You're right. It's
and
literally
recreated
it's
exactly like adults would.
Like they filmed the last scene in the movie and then they're like, oh my God, you know what would be amazing? Is if we had them do this when they were kids. Hey, you kids, come here. You see what they just did? Go do that.
Yeah, you lock them in a dark room and you just put this on loop. You put that scene on loop and you say, beat for beat.
Yeah.
You better make it like that.
Yeah.
I wrote down, well, I was happy to see Dakota Fanning. That's what I wrote.
I didn't know it was her until I looked at the cast, but.
Oh my God. I'd recognize that face anywhere. And I just wrote, this kitty kiss was so adult.
It was so adult.
They have them do that like lock eyes. You come 50, I come 50. She closes her eyes. I'm just like, this is not how 10-year-olds would kiss. This looks disgusting. This is disgusting.
Okay, so they kiss. They like make this like oath to like stay together, get married, whatever. And
yeah, a lot's going on this beach. It's being struck by lightning.
Then they get struck by the lightning. And I was
lightning
like,
never strikes the same place twice.
Is this real? Like, is this
another magic movie?
Does this really? That's what I wrote. I was like, oh my God, is it like magic? I was like, is it real? And then as soon as they get struck by lightning, adult Reese, wakes up from a dream. And that's when I really was like, huh? Like, was that really what happened? Or was it I mean, I know it was a dream because she just woke up.
Well, at this point, unclear.
We
don't know who the other boy is at this point in time.
Right. Or if it like even happened that way. Yeah,
for sure. A lot going on in that beginning. You have to know that when lightning strikes sand, it makes like a glass sculpture. Didn't know you could also make it happen 1,000 times.
Just a quick word about the glass sculptures. They are so ugly. They are the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. And she was like, her friends, this is like skipping to the end. Like her friends get off the plane. She's like, we have to go see the glass sculpture. She like drags them to that place to go see the glass. Yeah. She's like, this is what I've been telling you about.
I'm like, a child could make that. Dakota Fanning.
Oh my God.
Could pull glass like that.
Ugh. Anyway. Okay. So you're right. They're in New York City.
New York City. Reese has woken up from her like dream where she's kissed a boy. A lot of stuff that will come back in the end happens. So that's kind of what that does. And she's at work, sleeping.
She's at work, and I guess you find out throughout as the scene goes on. Not only is she at work, but this is like her company. She's the boss.
Yeah, she has a whole fashion show.
Which is weird because the way that her employees talk to her, they're being very subordinate. They're
She's
like
the intern.
yeah. She's like, why did you guys let me sleep? And they're like, oh, we liked hearing you talk when you sleep. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh.
That accent really comes out when you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Like, ew, gross.
It was very weird. And then I'm like, wow, this is the same New York City as Made in Manhattan, but they are definitely like, this is downtown.
Downtown.
And you know it's downtown because she's
Yes.
wearing that edgy choker.
I wrote that down.
Yeah,
I was like, the gritty streets of downtown New York City, those are the establishing shots we're getting.
It's funny though, because when she walks around on the streets downtown, not a soul. She has the
No
whole
one.
sidewalk to herself.
Gritty.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fun. What if Made in Manhattan was shooting uptown, so they were like, you gotta go. Push them down.
Yeah, I bet.
They're like, our trailers are up here. You need to go down.
I bet they would send like PAs as spies to like check on the other production to see like how they were doing with New York City.
And they report back to Reese because she likes to have her hand in a lot of like pots. And they're like, sorry, Reese, J-Lo's got uptown. And Reese is like, oh my God, this bitch.
Yeah. But I guess we find out that she's we really don't find out in this scene. We find out later. But like she is the fashion designer. And this is her. Like, what's weird about the fashion design element is that you don't find out that she is the fashion designer until the fashion show, and like her name is on.
It's everywhere.
Because in the first 3 scenes, it's like a group project. They're all like, "Oh, I hope that thing goes good tomorrow."
It seemed like they all came up together. They were all like,
Yeah,
they were
like-
saying things like, when you like, oh, we didn't wake you up because when you make it, like, we're all gonna get checks. Like they're kind of saying like
It was a
the
group
calm before the
project.
storm.
It was a group
I like
project.
That. I
Yeah.
like that angle. I like that take.
Oh my
Felt like
God.
a group project.
But she leaves the pre-planning fashion show meeting. Her apartment, oh my God. She had the ugliest lamp I've ever seen in my life. It had fur along the edge. Do you remember that lamp?
Yeah, and also I grew up with a furry lamp.
Oh my God.
Peak 2000.
Okay, she's an adult. You were
So is that choker. The choker.
You were
peak 2000.
12.
Yeah, I was 12.
So
Probably younger. 10.
What's funny though is that when she opens the door to her apartment, I guess she's been working all night and she's coming home to get ready for the show. Her apartment is littered with flower petals. It's a mess. If I had, and we find out her then boyfriend, put all this stuff there. If I have a very stressful event coming up, the last thing I want to walk into is an unkept home like that.
Agree.
That would have set me off.
Yeah,
I would have
not
called
okay.
him and said, "Come over and clean this
up.
It was
They're gonna rot.
It was filthy in there from all those flower petals.
This is one of those like movie things where you're supposed to be like, "Oh my God, how romantic," but like you're not really supposed to consider the real world repercussions of something like that.
Yeah,
Like a house. Viewers at home, if you haven't seen Sweet Home Alabama, go see it. But he has filled her place with flowers in vases, flower petals, flowers in pots, roses everywhere.
Yeah,
To show how much he loves her.
but also we get this first clue in this this message that her boyfriend at this point, we haven't met him yet. He drops the word plantation in his voicemail message to her. I don't remember the context, but I just wrote down.
That's jarring.
I wrote,
That's a jarring word.
Like, because we find out later, but she has spun this narrative that she grew up on this plantation. And
which I'm like, makes sense.
yeah,
Like I'm willing to 100% buy that.
yeah. I mean, it's not like a wild thing to say. Like Blake Lively got married on a plantation. She used that word many times, but it's like to hear it so comfortably tossed around is strange. So
I was also pretty jarred by her name. Her creative name is Melanie Carmichael.
it's not a sexy name.
And then Carmichael, I don't know, maybe all of my cultural blah, blah, blah. What I don't know what I'm trying to say about Carmichael. But I was like, that sounds like someone who grew up on a plantation.
Or I was like, what would have been more chic is if she just went by Melanie. Like it.
That's it.
Like not Melanie
But then we don't have a
Carmichael.
movie.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't make sense then.
She's
but
a lie.
She's a liar face.
I didn't think this was going to be a lie movie.
Here's what I will say about the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes of the movie does a lot of work to endear you to Reese Witherspoon. Because as the movie goes on, she gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
Like, she's pretty neutral in these scenes. She's just like a worker, whatever. But like, once her temper comes out as the movie goes on, I found her more and more difficult to stomach.
I'm trying to think, like, how I felt about the first 15, because the rest of the movie very much eclipses everything about that opening.
And it doesn't really matter anymore.
No, I feel like she's like 24. She has her own fashion line. I already have an issue. She seems like she comes from money. I'm like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And she's with McDreamy. I'm like, this is just another one of those perfect life movies where she's going to go back to Alabama and everyone's going to be like, you sold out. You lost your down home roots.
That's what I thought the movie was.
That's what I thought the movie was too. I guess I was endeared to her. It's Reese Witherspoon. Why not?
Well, what I think is that what they're not doing in this first 15 minutes is they're not revealing some of her personality traits that come out like as she returns to Alabama. Because I think there is a change in her. But you're right. Pat, whatever his name is,
McDreamy.
He is at the fashion show. We find out he's her boyfriend, and
he takes her to Tiffany's.
He takes her to Tiffany's. He makes
he
all those.
He
kidnaps her after the fashion show, which is a big success. And he takes her to Tiffany's. He makes all the staff work overtime so that she can get a ring because they're engaged now.
Yes,
he proposes.
Yes. Also, those very select fashion show scenes, I was dead. They were like, this isn't the right purple. This is an aubergine.
Yeah. She's like, it's supposed to be neon. It's supposed to be neon. They have a 5-minute conversation. Then they walk away and Reese Witherspoon goes, it's on backwards.
It's on backwards.
I was like, what? Like...
that was pretty funny. And when I was
she's like, wait,
10,
no, it's my job to figure out the problems. I was like, oh my God.
If I had watched this when I was 10, I would have been like, wow, fashion. Cool.
Well, yeah, they're definitely like, ooh, edgy. Okay, so we have this fashion show. She gets engaged. She goes to Tiffany's. And then this is where I wrote in my notebook, right before the scene where we meet Candice Bergen, I wrote down, what is the problem here? Like, there's no roadblocks. Like, everything is fine. So I was like, what is going to be the issue?
Yeah, I mean, there's only an inkling in her performance. Like, what? She's not that psyched to be engaged, and we kind of can't really figure out why, or I can't.
Well, she's excited to be engaged until Patrick Dempsey mentions, "Let's call your parents."
Let's call your parents,
and then instantly she's like,
we have to keep it from them.
Right.
And same with, she's like, let's keep it from everyone, your mom as well.
Yeah. And then we get an aside with Candice Bergen, who gets a tip off that her son might be engaged. And she's like, no,
I would know.
I would know. I would know, and I would have a comment. And
she's like peak evil mom.
She really found a niche for these kinds of roles.
Yep.
I mean, it's the same character from
Miss Congeniality.
Honestly, that would have made more sense if she was the mayor in Miss Congeniality, because then that would have given her a reason to say no to the FBI.
To the FBI coming through.
But that actually makes more sense. She was probably just confused. So
she was confused. It was the exact same bad mom cutaway. It was like, dun, dun, dun. No, my son's not engaged. She came across pretty evil.
Yeah, she came across evil. They tell us quickly that she's a Democrat, and then Reese compares and contrasts that to her family.
A Yankee and a Democrat.
Yeah, so
cross-cut. He in the back of the limo as they're like arriving to this event where she's like, can we keep everything hush hush? All he does is slide. He just rotates the ring on her finger and goes, okay, we can keep it a secret. Don't worry about it. And I'm like,
just take the ring off.
I was like, this isn't going to go well.
This isn't going to go well. And how about this? It's actually really disrespectful to your mom. That's not fair for her mom to find out that way. And I actually had no problems with her reaction. That's like so rude to do it like that.
I mean, they didn't think they were going to be found out, but I was dying. I was like, you rotated this ginormous rock to the inside of her finger.
It's like, what are you doing?
I think it's quite a funny sight gag when they do get off on the red carpet and he does go like, hey, mom, blah, blah, blah. And mom grabs Reese Witherspoon's hands and then it's like that cutaway and she's gripping the rock. I was like, that's pretty funny.
It is funny because it's like these two 20-year-olds, they really thought they were doing something here by shifting the rock down.
She kept it on the ring finger as well.
Of course she did. Of
Didn't
course
even
she
switch
did.
fingers. Like,
no.
If she moved it to the right, fine.
Yeah.
But Candace Bergen finds out, Mommy Dearest finds out, and she's not psyched.
And the press has a field day, as we can see with those images of all the tabloids, one after the next.
And this is what Mom feared. She just wants to get a handle on her PR, that's all.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because they didn't explicitly say in this scene that she's the mayor, but what...
She's important.
Reese Witherspoon says to her, she calls her Your Honor. So I was like, is she a judge? And then... I was so confused. I was like, oh my God, maybe she's on the Supreme Court? Like, I couldn't figure out why she was calling her
Your Honor.
Your Honor. It was very strange. It's only until a later scene that you find out that she's the mayor. Or maybe you're just supposed to know. I didn't know. It was confusing.
They do say mayor, like, in a later scene. And then you're like, okay.
They do. But she calls her Your Honor. It's so weird.
Maybe she's like a funny touch. Like, oh my God, she's like my superior. Your Honor.
I think they're either doing two things. Either whoever was responsible for like fact checking the script called out sick, or they were trying to like convey to us like some sort of rudimentary Southern genteel social politics of like what is appropriate. Because I think you're right. Like the only other possible explanation is that like they're trying to show us like, oh, that's her Southern creeping out, calling her your
in.
There she goes.
I wish we watched this with a native Alabamian, Southerner.
I would love that.
I don't know anyone.
I don't know anyone either.
Couldn't call a soul.
Wait, where's Reese Witherspoon from?
I said that. I was like, in my head, I'm like, Reese is Southern.
Is this
Southern to me?
But is she actually from the South?
I was like, I think she grew up in Hollywood.
It was hard to tell with her accent because...
I'm going to look it up, but I think she's Southern. I think she's from like Tennessee.
Okay.
Don't you think that? Why do I
didn't know. I didn't look it up, but... Where is she from? But so anyway, she's with the mom. Mom finds out. It's all in the tabloids. And Reese decides that she, on her own, is going to go to Alabama because she's going to handle breaking the news to her parents.
By herself.
And
this is first like, huh? You're not taking him?
That it didn't make any sense. But I realize why when she gets there. But like,
I realize why very quickly.
But if I was him, I would have been like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
It's really funny that my assumptions for this movie took over. I was like, no. This is the movie where she takes him back.
Right.
And he gets to see what a redneck, like a family of rednecks, and like slowly but surely fall out of love with her because she's not as New York or cosmopolitan as he thought. Like that, I'm like, this is weird.
Something on that theme. Like something where the two of them are there and hijinks ensue.
Yep. But surprise.
She's there alone.
She touches down in Alabama.
And it looks nice. The first few shots.
It's very suburban. Very manicured.
Yeah. And then we get to her town. What's it called? Pigeon Grove?
Pigeon Hill, Pigeon Grove, I don't know.
Didn't
really clock it.
Didn't clock it. But I did notice that she's taken her choker off. She's no longer wears the choker when she's in Alabama. It's too edgy.
Yeah, she's trying to she's just trying to blend in, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. She pulls up to this house. We don't know whose house it is yet.
Yeah.
And some guy comes out with like a lot of dirt on his face.
Yeah, and he's very friendly. He's kind of like, oh, the dog's not going to bite. How can I help you? And she's ramped her accent up to a 10, which I won't do because I think it's offensive.
Not really yet. Reese did a really good job. It's like she had a line graph for herself personally in her own folder. Yeah. And she was like, where should I be at the accent at this point? And it's only just getting going.
But it will continue to increase.
Oh, it will continue to ramp up. Duh.
I will
It wouldn't
say,
be Sweet Home Alabama.
okay, when she
without
gets
it.
out of the car, the tone of voice that she uses to speak to him was terrible.
Yeah.
She was
I
so
mean,
mean. I
you
found her.
love to rag on the women for being mean.
No, I think she was terrible. And I found her to be so undeserving in this movie of attention.
I think you hate women. I'm just going to say
No,
it.
it's this movie. Her character, I don't think it aged well at all.
Well, okay, she pulls up. My mouth hits the floor when I find out that she's been trying to get a divorce from this man, Jake,
Yeah.
who comes out of the house for 7 years, and he won't sign the papers. And I think he's being very pompous and a big asshole. And 7 years, she's been sending him these papers. He
Mhm.
hasn't signed them in 7 years. I think that he is the asshole in the scene.
No, but she hasn't come back.
Why would she have to? She moved away.
Yeah.
She started a new life. She's like a fashion designer. She's like left Alabama behind. She says she wants a divorce. Okay, for 7 years, you don't sign the divorce papers. I mean, granted, I would have come back after year 2 and been
Yeah.
like, signed these papers.
Yeah.
But like, I think he's the douchebag
No.
in the exchange.
No way.
Oh, guys, this is so gendered. I can't. This is insane.
But they also make it sound like she hasn't really been in touch. Like, to just send somebody divorce papers.
Well, I think what they like we find out way later, but there was an event where they get pregnant or something, and she's like lost the baby, and it was like too much for her to bear, and she like kind of saw her whole life flash before her eyes and was like, I need to do something with my life. So she runs away to New York. Like that's the
Yeah.
backstory. But oh, this is so interesting because I think he is acting like a pompous asshole.
No.
And he's been sent divorce papers for 7 years and wouldn't sign them, and he has the like nerve to come out and be mad at her for asking him to do it.
But I don't think
again.
that she's been sending them for 7 years. That's not what they said.
No, she's been sending them like around the clock, I thought.
No.
At least yearly.
No, that's not what was going on.
So you're saying she sent them once and he just refused to sign them, and for 7 years she didn't check in?
I don't think she sent them. That's what they were implying.
No, she sent him divorce papers.
No.
Yes.
No, she didn't. That was the plot. That's the whole point of the movie.
That she just serves him with them after 7 years?
Yes. Yes. The whole point is that she forgot about all of them. That's the point of the movie.
Well, I'm going to have to fact check you.
Yeah. No, that's the whole point.
So you're saying after 7 years, this is hilarious. So after 7 years, she shows up and just serves him.
Yes.
One day.
Yes.
I got the sense that he'd been not signing them for longer.
No. Because
we have to look this up.
his whole point to it is that when she comes, he's like, you just show up out of the blue and you demand that I sign this right now. Like that's his whole reaction to not signing. Is that
so the town is Pigeon Creek.
okay? Close enough. Pigeon Hill.
I'm on the plot summary because I'm just too curious. I don't know. I don't think we'll have time for me to go through it. But wait, this is like a very fundamental misunderstanding.
To me, that was the whole point of their interaction, was that
Really?
out of the blue, because everyone says like, we haven't seen you, we haven't heard from you. He's like, I haven't seen you or heard from you since you left.
No, okay. The plot summary says, since she left Pigeon Creek and Jake 7 years ago, Melanie has tried to get a divorce from Jake, signing divorce papers, which he has refused to do. As such, she heads back to Pigeon Creek for the first time in 7 years to finalize the divorce before she can marry Andrew, and before the Hennings discover not only her true background, but that she's already married. So this is interesting because it does affect our read on the scene.
Yeah.
If you think she's serving him for the first time after 7 years, you
In
think she has
person,
the poor attitude.
in person.
I think she's been trying to get him to sign these papers for 7 years, and she's coming back for the first time in person to be like, what's wrong with you? Give me my divorce.
I think that,
And then that changes the read. Don't
But I
you
think, but I think his point is that like, if you really cared about this, you would have come back.
That's what the whole point of the movie is that. So I
Yeah.
will concede that like the movie is saying you forgot about your home.
Right.
Yeah.
And like they shared a traumatic event together and she
Yeah.
just got up and left.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would if this is YouTube, I'd be like, comment below. What do you think? But
Well, I think you're right that that's what makes, I think the movie is guiding you towards obviously wanting to identify with Reese. It's very Reese.
yeah. I mean, I was on her team because I'm just like, after 7 years, it seems like he is dangling this over her head in a very pompous, showy way.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
know there's real
how
hurt
about
under
this?
it. I'm
How
not
about
crazy. I know he's been dumped, so there's like some very real hurt
well,
beneath his pompous
well,
demeanor.
let me just say this. I mean, there's no healthy relationships in this movie. The two of them, this is the last line that I wrote down. Everyone knows this marriage is not going to work. So it's like they were not meant to be together ever. He's like has drinking problems and he's like not a very nice person and she has anger management. Their marriage isn't going to work this time. So
I was just like, 7 years, you didn't give her the damn divorce. It's not gonna get better now.
yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
okay.
God, no.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think where we go from here. Oh yeah, she like goes into town, or someone gives her the idea.
The bank.
Someone reminds her they have a joint bank account.
Yeah, she goes into the town and like she runs into like all these characters and like they do this like very cartoonish performance of what the South is, where like the police officer talks about like domestic violence generally and says, "Oh, did he do something to you? Because now we take that kind of stuff kind of serious these days." And I was like, oh my God.
2002.
And I was like, they really think they're doing something with this town tour. Like they think the director thinks it's a documentary. He's like giving us these like little shots to be like, pick up the culture if you can. But
yeah, if you can. I was happy to see different locales around Alabama because I thought this was going to be a one home kind of movie, like in one place. So it was actually really nice to see like the town, blah, blah, blah. But some encounters are nice. And then some encounters you're like, Reese Witherspoon was a real prankster in her day. She did like bad stuff in this town.
She did bad stuff. And actually, there was a really interesting scene sort of towards the end where you find out that she had like illegally fished, what kind of fish doesn't matter, catfish from the black police officer's pond.
Yes.
And he very calmly, but like was trying to let her know that like she did some bad things. And it doesn't land the way that it should, but it's a really interesting moment where like he, out of all the people, is the one holding her a little bit accountable for like her actions.
Yeah, her
when
past
she was
actions.
a kid.
I couldn't really suss out what the movie wanted from those kinds of like mentions. And I'm like, are they trying to say that she was like a rambunctious teen? Her and Jake got married like right out of high school.
Yeah.
She got pregnant and they were just like two rambunctious like little kids. Like she needed to grow up. Maybe that was it. That was where my mind went.
Yeah, certainly immature because he's immature still, and so is she. Like their maturity level is so below the charts that it's like, and I think that is what colors our discussion before, is that like they're both immature.
Yeah, I'll say they're both immature. They're both being petty. They're both trying to one up each other.
And I think in his mind, he was doing the right thing by being like, no, I'm not going to get divorced until you come down here and actually talk to me.
And ask me.
And in her mind, she was like, you're being immature for not just signing them. I haven't seen you in 7 years.
Yeah, like, that was the two. Those were the two views.
Neither of them was right, and neither of them is wrong. It's just
this is a more intense movie than I thought. Really intense.
It is. It is intense, but they have this weird levity where it's like all fun, and then it's like in this first few scenes. Well, when does she get arrested?
Oh my God, I know that happens too.
Pretty soon, right?
Pretty soon. She drains their joint bank account to be petty, to kind of like force his hand.
Oh
and
my God, she takes all of his money.
Yeah, she takes all his money, which is a lot, and she can't believe it. She's like, "What are you doing with all that money there?"
This has to be a financial crime. Like, this cannot be.
She says it. She's like, "Are you doing something illegal? Like, is that why you're not signing? Like, what's going on?" She drains the money, and she very quickly stages his house. in like, I don't know, Betty Crocker fashion. She's like, you wanted a wife? You got a wife. And then she's like cooking, and
Yeah.
he comes home and he's like, you put chick food in the fridge. And she's like, it's just light beer, honey.
Oh my God.
Chick food.
Yeah.
Chick food. I want that on a shirt.
Chick food. No, just light beer.
No one will get it.
She
A reference that nobody gets.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the takeaway from this movie. But
I was just like, she set up that house quick. That's all I wrote there.
Yeah, did they get a new fridge? The refrigerator looked new.
I think they did. It was like a stainless steel,
brand
beautiful
new. Yeah,
fridge.
I was like, oh, why isn't he commenting on the refrigerator?
Yeah, but she uses that as her leverage. She's like, you won't sign the divorce papers, then this is it. And if you do sign, I'll put all the money back.
Yeah.
I'll put all of your money back.
Extortion. That's a crime.
In the account.
That's a crime.
Not the first crime she's committed.
Not the first crime.
In this town.
Yeah. It's
She's
just
committed a lot of crimes.
It's hard. Like, again, like, I think they were going for light and bright with these types of things. Like, oh my God, can you believe it? She just took all of his money. Like, how funny is that? But it's like, something is weird.
This is the second time in this movie where somebody set up someone else's house behind their back. And
yeah.
with
She's
the first roses.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, I have an idea.
Now let's get him all new furniture. And also, arguably, she like did him a favor.
Yeah.
Much better.
And like what she can't seem to realize is that all of these petty things that she's doing is just prolonging the process, because he gets more and more frustrated and he's like, no, I'm not signing it right now. Like, I'm not signing this to get all my money back.
I was so frustrated. I was like, that would make me sign. Sign. I want my money back. But
yeah,
he has stood his ground.
After
7 years, he wasn't giving up.
Well, he wasn't giving up, but I think like it was pretty clear what he was communicating to her, which she was missing, was that he was like, I just want to be respected as your husband. Like,
he wanted to talk. He wanted that final talk.
He wanted to talk. And I think like what Reese was communicating was like, this marriage was a joke. It was a joke to me. It must have been a joke to you. Like, just sign it. And he very clearly was like, no, I didn't think it was a joke. Like, I thought it was for real. And I was like, he needs a little button-up conversation.
If we put our documentary hats on again, which we love to do, maybe it was too painful. She was just like, it was so painful for her to like lose that pregnancy that she just really was like, I can't face this. And she ran. Which I get.
I think that's
the actor motivation.
No, I think that's 100% valid, and I think that makes sense for her leaving. I have no problem with her like up and leaving. That to me tracks. But I think though he clearly still has feelings.
Yeah, he clearly still has feelings, and
it's like if you're in the room with him for 30 seconds, you can tell.
Yeah,
like you can tell.
Yeah, I mean he's being pompous about it in the opening, but he's not giving up. He's acting like it's almost as if when they got electrocuted when they were 10, like they stopped maturing, because they're acting like like children on a playground would, where it's like the boy doesn't want the attention of the girl because like he doesn't want other people to know that he likes girls. Likes her.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna push you away, but then he secretly wants her to be
so toxic, very toxic.
It's 100% toxic. That's why I said this isn't gonna work anyway. So why are we putting in all this time?
What are we holding on to, bro?
When they get married.
Oh God.
Anyway,
I think she almost gets arrested. So
they go out drinking.
Yeah, she goes out to like the local bar. All of like her local friends are there. We get to meet the characters.
Get to meet the town. Jean Smart is there.
Love her.
As like the barmaid.
Yeah. I don't have a lot going here. They play pool.
Yeah.
But wait, how does she get arrested?
Well, I don't know if it's this scene, but...
Is it public intoxication?
I forget what it is. She gets arrested at some point, but this is the scene where I really was like, oh my God, she is
an asshole.
Awful. When she outs one of the guys at the bar.
That's what I have for this scene. She outs Bobby Ray.
And I was like, you're gross. Like, her behavior here was gross. And I was like, put her in a drunk tank and let her cool off. Because like everyone, and to your point though, like you just said, like everybody had come out, whether they were happy or not happy to see her, like they were there to see her and like welcome her back to the community.
Yeah.
And then she does that.
Yeah. Her outing Bobby Ray, I was like, oh, she's terrible.
Yeah.
In this moment. She's like not a good person to do that. And I just wrote, there's so many lies in this movie. I just could have never fathomed that there was going to be this many lies. It's a lot.
Yeah. There were a lot of lies, a lot of secrets in the town. And that was like another thing that we're learning about the town. Secrets.
Yeah. And then like this next section, I just feel like she's on an apology tour. Mm-hmm. Until the next big event happens, which is like we find out that she lied about where she grew up.
Right. So in New York, her soon-to-be mother-in-law is putting the pieces together that she's not who she says he is, who she says she is. There is no Melanie Carmichael.
Yeah. Can't find any record of her down in Alabama.
Yeah.
Can't find the house, like the house that she claims.
Yeah. And as she's spending more time there, though, as Melanie is spending more time in Alabama, she starts to connect a little bit more with her parents. She starts to connect with Bobby Ray. I don't know why he like even talks to her ever again.
I know, he lets her back in. She goes, she says sorry. She does her little apology tour. They end up at a street fair. Another nice Alabama local thing.
Yeah.
Happy to see it.
And honestly, like that should have been a great model for her to like be mature and forgive, but she's not ready for that yet.
She's not ready.
She's not ready to behave.
This is the first time we get the song, the Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh yeah, the original, like the regular one.
The regular version.
The regular version.
And not the Kid Rock
But this is the one
sample.
No. This is the one though where they step away and she has like a little bit of an intimate moment with what's his name?
Jake, her husband.
They like almost kiss away from the fair.
Yeah, this is kind of where you see, okay, she does kind of still have feelings for him.
Yeah.
She even says it like a little later. She goes, New York fits, but like so does Alabama. So the street fair. Oh, yes, there's an intimate moment.
There's an intimate moment, and he's the mature one here, at least on paper, and is like, you have a fiance. Like, you should be not trying to kiss me right now in this parking lot.
Where's your husband? Where's your fiance? Yeah, I don't have much there except it's like the first inkling of.
Yeah, it's like to the surprise of no one that they are romantically interested in each other. But
yes,
it had to happen. But
yeah.
But to complicate things in the next scene, or who cares about the order, but there is this guy who shows up to the Carmichael estate where Bobby Ray lives, looking for Melanie, and he says he's from like the New York Post or whatever, and he's there to write a story about her.
Yeah.
He actually works for Candice Bergen, and luckily Reese is there just in time to
at the same moment to intercept and lie.
And
Bobby Ray lies with her and for her after she did him so dirty.
He's way too nice to her. So
yeah,
he lets her keep the charade,
nice.
But we can't forget the one little funny scene where she pulls the reporter into
the
closet. And he says, "Why are we in here?" And she says, "Because it's like the Underground Railroad."
Yeah. Oh, God.
Not great.
I think my brain really wanted to erase that moment. There was trauma there for me.
Oh, no.
You can't say that.
Can't say that. So.
Oh, God.
Definitely, like the way that she delivered it, like her mouth turned up. She was like, "This is going to get a laugh."
She's like, this is for the theaters.
This is for the audience.
This is for those of you in the back.
Yeah,
hey.
It was like, oh, no. So...
And like worth noting, before the reporter gets there, her grandpa, but maybe Bobby Ray's grandpa or something, is doing like a Civil War reenactment in the backyard and shooting off explosives.
They are shooting like mortar shells. They almost killed her. Like they were launching
the gazebo.
Yeah, they almost killed her.
And then I forget who says it. Someone says when the Confederacy died, it became like, when the Confederacy died, it became immortal. I think it was Bobby Ray says it.
Yeah. He actually does say something he gives a very interesting line about plantations, because Reese comes in the back and mentions something about like the plantation this, the plantation that. And like Bobby Ray says, a plantation is just a farm, like over time or something like that. But what I liked about it though is that like he was trying to express to her, like, in this town, this is a farm. Like, you are the one who is calling it like this mansion, this like gorgeous building. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, this is just a farm. This is just my home.
Yeah. The symbol for her is like, my mother-in-law up in New York will accept this version of me.
Exactly.
So that's that. And then we do get a crosscut to Candice Bergen, and she says, I get elected by poor people.
Oh my God.
I love poor people. I get elected by poor people.
She does say that.
Very made in Manhattan.
Very. But eventually, like, so you're right. Like, this sort of concludes her apology tour-ish. She's made up with Bobby Ray. She's tried to kiss the guy. She is doing well with her parents. And just at that time, she gets a call from Patrick Dempsey, and he's like, you know what? We can have the wedding in Alabama. And he like surprises her with an unannounced visit.
But yes, unannounced visit.
Well, you're right. Okay, the movie is leading us to think, oh my God, he just showed up out of nowhere. Like, this is nuts. But I was like, it's actually not. They're engaged. And
it's not nuts at all.
And I would have been like, okay, I'm coming down there. Like, you've been there for 2 weeks. Like, what are you doing? You won't tell me anything.
Yeah, he goes to surprise her. He shows up at the Carmichael mansion, knock, knock.
Yeah.
Jake intercepts him at the door. So current fiance and ex, or her current husband Jake, meets him at the door. Intercepts him. Bobby Ray answers.
Yeah.
Who are you? My cousin. Who are you? Her other cousin. Ha ha ha. And then they take her to Reese.
Yeah.
Who's at another reenactment, right?
She's at another Civil War reenactment. And in this scene where she's faced with these two guys, and they're both, I was just like, you don't deserve these two. They were like laughing. There's a cousin joke in there that she married her cousin.
You married your cousin?
Please tell me he's your second cousin. And she's like,
the South.
It was like, it was very bizarre. But she brings him to her parents' house, and he sees everything, and then he kind of he can't handle it. He runs away. Patrick Dempsey runs away. And then eventually her father picks him up, and he comes back to apologize to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, she is so lucky
that these people are.
It's okay.
Love is crazy.
Here's the thing.
Love's insane.
It's not like he was like, oh, I knew you were from this town, but now that I'm here, it's disgusting and I'm leaving. He was like, you're not who you said you were.
Yeah, you literally lied about everything.
Right. So
including
it was like,
your last name.
It was weird for us to like sit around and be like, oh, he should come back. Because I'm like, why? Like, he was pretty justified in leaving.
I know. This is just where movie structure just works for all of these. It's working for Reese Witherspoon, and it's working for the movie. It's like, he's got to come back.
He has to come back.
He has to come back.
He comes back, and he comes back with not an ounce of grudge, not an ounce of anger.
I was happy to see that. I felt like that was anti-trope. I'm into it.
Me too. And it was very mature. Like,
Super mature. This is an adult man, an
because
adult
here's
relationship.
what I appreciated about the moment was that if he would have left and not come back, I actually would have had no problem with that. If he came back and was like an asshole and was like yelling at her or whatever, then I would have been like, you should have just left. But like he came back and was like, no, I've thought about it. I've decided that this is actually fine with me. Like, I love you as a person.
I accept you for who you are, your past, everything.
And I want to get to know you. I was like, oh my God, she does not deserve this level of maturity.
Sweet. Good man.
I thought it was very mature.
It was super mature, and it was like very welcome. I was like, nice, cool.
Yeah, and like he's very nice to her parents and like wants to get to know them, and like he also is very accommodating to move the wedding to Alabama and not like
It was sweet. He was seeing no issues.
I only say accommodating in the fact that in the first few scenes of the movie, it was never up for debate where they would have this like gorgeous wedding. Like it was always going to be a New York wedding. So, he lets Candice Bergen know that like plans are changing. They're getting married in the South.
Yeah, it was cute. He goes to her parents. He goes, if you can take care of the rehearsal dinner, I can take care of everything else. I don't know why I gave him a Southern accent. He's not Southern.
He's not Southern. I actually really like that scene because
I loved it.
Her dad was like visibly uncomfortable with the thought of having to pay for the wedding as the bride's parents. And I thought there was like something very respectful because he knew that the dad wanted to financially participate in the wedding. I thought he did it in a very respectful way.
It was so respectful. If you can do the rehearsal dinner, and then the dad goes, I think we can handle that. It was so cute.
I thought it was wonderful. I thought that was like a very nice moment.
They led that section with grace. And this is my question though. Why are they acting like she doesn't make her own millions as a fashion designer?
Yeah, it's weird because
like I know where she came from. Where she came from was modest, but why are they acting like she's not bringing a ton of money to this relationship?
Yeah, because he at a certain point in the movie he calls her and says, "Are you sitting down? Like the reviews are in for your fashion line. They say it's going to be a hit." So
maybe she hasn't cashed in yet.
I think so, but she also has a super cute apartment downtown. Like she's not wealthy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like New York
she's
City.
Like
she's
not
made
New York
it.
City wealthy, but she could pay her own way, so to speak.
Yeah, there's no cockroaches in her apartment.
Like she's dressed.
Or maybe there are.
Like like they're communicating with her outfits that she has money to buy things. She's dressed
that's what
nice.
I thought.
She's dressed nice.
Yeah, but okay, they handle that with grace, but. The next scene, there's not so much grace because Candice Bergen is not happy.
Candice Bergen arrives.
She's pissed.
She's pissed. She gets out of the limo outside the parents' trailer home, and she kills a mosquito. And she's like, "Got it. Only 7 million to go.
More to go." And Dad comes out and he goes, "Hey, that's the national bird of the South."
Oh, that was
so
funny.
It's so funny. I loved it.
That was funny and
good comedy.
I will also say this. I think that here's the thing. What Candice Bergen does is polite thing to do. She talks about Reese's family behind their backs, which is much more polite. When she's in front of them, she's very polite. She's very like, sure, yes, I'm nice to meet you. Dad puts her in the lazy boy chair that doesn't work. Everyone's just trying to get to the wedding. They just want to get to the wedding so everybody can go home.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the movie, I did write down, this is classic 2000s feminism at play again. The least feminist character in a whole movie is another woman. And that is so 2000s. Like, she is so pissed at Reese Witherspoon for lying.
Yeah.
And about where she came from.
Right.
And I'm just like, this evil stepmom, girl on girl thing. We saw it in Miss Congeniality where they're fighting over a stapler.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is so 2000s to have the most woman-hating character be a woman.
Right, but also and not to give them an opportunity to resolve it with a conversation. Instead, it has to be like plotting behind her back.
Her back. It's so like catty.
Because I think that
not to use catty.
Well,
in
no,
an anti-woman way.
they're portraying it as catty, but I think that what was interesting about the movie is that there are real grounds for Candice Bergen to feel frustrated with her for lying.
But they go into cartoon land.
Exactly. Like they don't have the two of them sitting down to lunch and discussing why she did this. Instead, they both assume something about the other and then just harbor
resentment. She could take notes from her son. She could be really. Her son
is very mature.
She could be like, "Hey, you're not who you said you were. I'm a mayor. Like, I need to be on top of these things." She could boss babe it up and still not be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And then the note I did write is, I don't think we needed the evil stepmom in the plot at all.
Well, no, because normally the evil stepmom is like pulling the strings of the son. And she doesn't really do that, right? Like
she doesn't have that pull.
She doesn't manipulate him in a way that at all in the entire movie. So there's
it felt for naught.
Her force, like the only benefit that she has in the movie is that she's the one who sets into motion figuring out who she is. Otherwise, Patrick Dempsey would have never found her. But he would have figured it out by showing up to the plantation and unannounced. It would have come out in the wash, so to speak. Like it would have come out. Okay. Also, who arrives are her New York City art friends, and they get off the plane. God. They get off the plane, and she points to this advertisement in the airport, and she was like, "Look, this is the place I was telling you about.
We gotta go.
A place we haven't heard of the entire movie.
Not even seen an advertisement for.
No, exactly.
Which would have been so cool if each step of the way we'd seen like little advertisements for it.
Or like a brochure for this place in his home. Like, you know,
something.
Some clue because, so spoiler, what's his name has a glass art
blowing
resort studio that has a restaurant
that he takes a plane to
every day. So basically what she finds out is that her current husband / teen husband has money. He has an art studio. He makes glass art. And then they sort of imply, but maybe I missed it, but they sort of implied that they had seen this art in New York City.
Really?
Yeah.
That's lost on me.
They mention it there, but they definitely didn't bring it up in the like what would have made this better is that in the beginning section in New York City, we had like a girls' night out and they went to an art gallery and they saw this glass art at like a gallery, and then they were like, it said like artist unknown. And they were like...
And Reese could say the line, too, that she says at the end, which is, you know, that happens when lightning strikes sand. Nobody knows that that's what happens. Because there are these, like, weird, like, coral-looking structures. Yeah. Little statues.
So I think it would have been interesting if they would have, like, put that at the beginning just so that she would have... Because when she sees the art at the studio, she immediately, like, recognizes what it is. It just would have been cool, I think, if she would have seen it in New York, to be like, oh, like, you're an artist.
Well, I would like one more mention because here's why. One up top, which is
it's
your
still
suggestion.
Ugly. Oh, go ahead.
Still ugly. I would have wanted one mention up top, which was your suggestion, and I love it. So amazing. Now, this at the street fair, do you remember she's drinking from a beer glass or just like from a glass? And she goes, wow, these are nice. I wonder if they make them in New York. And she goes to look for the maker. Oh. And her friend, all the friends that are the townies look around and they look to Jake and they're like giving him eyes like, are you going to tell her that you made the glass, basically?
You're right.
And I'm like, what?
It wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for me.
So in that moment, I actually I'm like, what's with the glass? Did he make it? Like I had that thought. Okay. And then when they do go to the gallery at the end, and it brings it all home.
You're right.
She recognizes the structures, knows, wow, this could only be Jake because on the day of our first sexy kiss when we were 10, lightning struck the sand and the statue was created. Yeah. And right as the realization seeping into her face, cut to Jake is scaling the steps. Her honey.
Her
Jakey
husband.
Honey.
Actually, her husband.
Her actual husband, the whole movie.
Her husband, the whole movie.
And this is kind of where it's like pretty real for us and them. She's
Yeah.
like, wow.
There's no escape.
Wow. I still love him.
And this art and this resort that I could work at.
Yeah. She has a job down here when she comes.
Well, that was the only like tricky thing with this scene was that like it really seals the deal when she realizes he has
Did this.
some money. Like it was
I'm
a
like,
little tricky.
You're going to ditch your whole up and coming career in New York to
It's not going to work. Chanel,
Come down
I'm telling you, it's not going to work.
Oh, you're like, when this marriage isn't going to work, you even meant when they do end up together. It's never going to work.
No. They are getting divorced after the movie ends. It's not
Yes.
working. It's not working. I can
working.
guarantee you. So,
Yeah. Okay, so now we have to wrap it up.
yeah. So after this scene, they go to the real wedding. And at the wedding, which is like, I was like, is there nowhere else to film? It's at the plantation, the Carmichael plantation, which the irony is not lost on me.
Oh, God.
And this like guy who I didn't recognize him, but she knew him by name. This like shorter man.
Yeah.
I guess
and he tried to get into the wedding. And he's like, no, I'm not on any list, but I need to talk
I guess he's like an attorney. I guess he's
Mel.
her attorney. And he reveals that they are still in fact married because while he signed it, she never signed it, which really made me the
divorce papers.
Well, this made me really double down. This is probably why I was so angry when we were talking in the beginning, because I was like, girl, you can't be doing this for 7 years and you yourself not sign the papers.
I kind of weirdly saw it coming because, okay, so at one point, after the turning point of the movie, she wakes up and the papers are signed from Jake on her pillow.
Yeah.
This was after a drunken night or something. He's like, fine, I'll give you what you want. The papers are signed. And I saw that her section wasn't signed.
Right. Yeah,
and
there's
like,
2 stickers.
Oh. Yeah, there's 2 like sign me stickers.
You're right. Because normally you would sign it first and just give it to the other person.
And just give them the paper.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, I see something brewing. And then, yeah, I wasn't really sure what that little man's thing was going to be, but at the altar, about to say I do, he's running down the aisle. You're not Melanie, like, is her name Melanie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was like, Meredith, Melanie, Mel. He's like running at the altar and she's like, what? And he's like, the papers, like, you're not divorced. And she's like, what do you mean you didn't sign them? And I'm like, damn. And then she can't bring herself in the moment to sign them, which is just shocking.
So disrespectful to Patrick Dempsey. He handles it like a king and just says, you know what? I'm out. So he walks.
So mature again.
So mature, and he leaves. Candice Bergen uses some unkind language.
I know. Did you see the welts all over her face?
Yeah. And I was like, I get it. She's frustrated. Maybe she said something she regrets. And then the crowd gives Reese Witherspoon the old hoot and holler, and she punches her in the face. I was like, this is out of control.
I mean, stepmom was being a huge bitch, which is what made me write the line, I don't need evil. She's not stepmom, mother-in-law. Evil mother-in-law.
Not even mother-in-law.
Not yet.
They don't even get there.
She already has a mother-in-law, and her name's Jean Smart.
Jean Smart.
And she's great.
Obviously they had to do it, right? We had to see Reese Witherspoon punch Candice Bergen.
Very monster-in-law.
We had to get the scene.
Pop.
But it's weird because the way the scene is shot, she punches her really hard, and then she just like drops to the ground.
And
then Reese is like, if you're a party of the bride, come with me. And then like the crowd like tramples over her body, and then like we never see her again.
I know, and poor Patrick Dempsey too. I'm like, does he come? Does he go to the wedding? He was so respectful of her that I'm like, he's gonna go.
And like he leaves the food, he leaves the cake. It's all.
I'm like, he paid for all that too.
You think? Obviously. So it's like, so after that they go to what's her name's bar, Jean Smart's bar. They get it all set up. And I like this scene. I thought it was really cute. And they play Sweet Home Alabama by Jewel. Fun.
Oh no, we have to slow down.
Oh.
Reese has to go find Jake. Okay.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, right.
Okay.
He doesn't
This
know.
is insane.
He doesn't even know that he's gonna still.
He doesn't know that
He
he's still
thinks he's
married.
divorced.
He thinks he's divorced. Okay, so he's not.
Oh my god!
He's not at the
I
wedding.
blacked out with this scene.
Yeah, I want to take. I want to just point out how crazy this moment is. So she's got to go find him.
Yeah.
Where is he? At the beach.
At the beach. It's conveniently thunderstorming.
So I guess there's beaches
5
in
miles
Alabama.
away. There's beaches in Alabama. Yeah.
Okay, there are. Okay. Oh yeah, Floribama Shore. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Are we led to believe that he's making these sculptures by driving metal stakes
Yeah.
into the sand?
That's right.
Do you need a permit for this? Can you do that?
I think you need a safety class. So
I was shocked.
Yeah, we do
to see that.
Yeah, we see him learning. Yeah, he's making his art, so to speak.
He's driving metal stakes into the beach at night. The impending thunder is coming.
Yeah.
She shows up at the beach and he's like, "Where's your husband?" And she's like, I'm looking at him," or something like that.
Oh
and they
God.
do a real Southern accent off. It becomes a competition over who can lay it on thicker.
Yeah, she's morphing into ultimate Alabama Reese.
Yes. And they do kind of a replay of the beginning. He turns around, "Why would you want to marry me anyway?" When in the beginning, little Dakota Fanning said that. And she goes, "So I can kiss you whenever I want." And then they kiss. You didn't like it?
Same. It's just like.
So corny.
It's so. Okay. It's so weird because he is divorced from her in his mind. Like, it's like she says when we're divorced, now we're married. And then to pick him up from that beach and be like, not only are we married, we're going to our wedding party. It's like, wow, what a night for him. He had no idea.
He had a great night. Somebody from the party comes and he's like, "You're under arrest or you're in trouble." And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "For abandoning a perfectly good cake." And then they cut back to the bar and Bobby Ray is pulling the bride and groom, the Patrick Dempsey groom, off the cake and checking it. I'm like, poor Patrick, he paid for the cake.
Yeah, I almost wish that he would have come because I think it would have been nice. I would have liked to have seen that for him.
I think it would have been really rom-com-y and not stress anyone out if he came too. But he does get that amazing wrap-up where someone's like, "You're just going to let her go back to her ex?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I am." And it's cute and it's mature yet again of him. So
yeah,
he got a good wrap-up.
I think he also just like really looked around and he was like, "This is more trouble than it's worth." Like
I'm out.
I'm out. Thank you.
Yeah, but like I do love bookends in this way. I'm such a sucker for that.
Yeah.
If you replay the opening again in the end, I'm like crying. Like I love it. So they did that. And then they're cutting the cake. Jake and Reese forever. Yeah. And she goes to Jean Smart, her mother-in-law forever. Her mother-in-law for last. Still her mother-in-law.
Always been her mother-in-law.
She's like to Jake, she's like, "I believe you owe me a dance." And then she's like, "Maggie," or whoever the mom's name is, "play a slow one." And it is
the same song we already heard.
"Sweet Home Alabama" by, you said Jewel?
Jewel. By Jewel. It's the Jewel.
It's slow.
It's slow. It's slow enough, but
Wow.
It was very a strange ending.
So I usually ask this up top, but did you like this movie?
I liked everyone in the movie except for Reese. I enjoyed
you had a real problem with her.
I just think that it was trying to they were really trying to do something with their character, and I just think they missed the mark.
Yeah. I had no problem. I liked this movie. I liked the formula of it. And it surprised me every step of the way. Like, my jaw hit the floor when I found out thought she was still married.
Like, okay, this is 2002. Like, I just found her to be so emotionally immature, like, in the way that she was dealing with other people, that especially when we look at the other 2002 movies that we have, it was like, it just felt like a step back.
Setting women back. I looked it up. Reese
Not
was
just
only, like,
not women, just like
no, I know that was a bad joke.
yeah,
Actually,
just
that's not how I feel. Actually, I don't think that.
I just like in terms of relationships, like it felt like from a time gone by.
Maybe the shorthand of casting Reese Witherspoon is a little naive or immature. I
Well,
don't think I have enough evidence yet. Like, I think we are gonna do some more.
I think they want to.
Maybe.
Well, I think that with Reese, you get like high strung, you get intelligent, you get like a conversationalist, all these types of attributes. I just think that I would have liked to have seen that character with less immaturity. Because I think if she was a little bit more mature, I think that the movie would have been a whole lot better.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe it was really forward of them in 2002 to make her a little unlikable. I think that's something that wasn't done in 2002. I think in 2002 your lead has to be likable, and that is why you cast Reese Witherspoon, because everybody loves her.
But I don't think she was unlikable when the movie came out. Like people love this movie and they love Reese Witherspoon.
And loved her behavior.
Yeah.
They're like, great job.
Yeah, like oh my god, she's really sticking it to him. Like, and it's like,
Well,
whoa.
we did have pretty different experiences of this movie, and
Yeah, but I think that's
do
good.
think. Yeah, no, of course I think it's good, but I also think I think men and women will have really different experiences of this movie. Not to put that on
Yeah,
our little pod, but like I found a lot more issues with his pompous attitude than hers, and you found quite the opposite, which is interesting to me. I'm like, wow,
yeah.
maybe I need a doctorate in gender studies.
I think you just need to rewatch the movie because I think you just missed it.
No, I did not. Yeah. I had one more thing. No,
I mean,
I
they're
didn't.
both terrible people, and
Yeah.
my conclusion is that this isn't gonna last. Like they're
No, I
both
know.
emotionally immature. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, because then the message is also too that she gives up her whole life in New York to come down there, and I don't like that either. Like she built something pretty strong and big
It's
up in New
just
York.
starting.
Yeah, she's at it's budding, and she's gonna kind of regress back to her home self, which we all have that. Like when you go home, you're like a different person. I'm a different person at home. I'm regressing. I'm a kid again.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And they were pretty heavy-handed with the immaturity at home thing.
and
So,
like not for
I'm like, is she just
nothing.
gonna go back to that?
But then in the credits, they do like a slideshow of pictures of things that happen later, and we see that she just moves down there. They have a kid, and take a photo of the kid and them outside of the glass art studio thing, and it's
Yeah.
like that's fine, but she had a career.
Yeah. I mean, the ambition in me is like, fuck no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
But I did like that at one point in the movie, she does say that this fits too. She's like, I love New York, but this fits too. And then I'm like, okay, I'm on board.
yeah.
This isn't the movie I was expecting. I'm kind of
No.
surprised in like kind of a good way. Like I just like being on my toes. This was not what I thought I was getting. I thought I was going to get like Family Stone,
Yeah, I thought.
something like that.
Yeah, I thought that the formula would be that her, like you said, her and Patrick Dempsey would come down. Patrick Dempsey would make these horrible comments about the town, and that through his horrible comments, she would learn to love it and then, fall in love with the guy. Like that's what
Yeah.
I thought the formula was going to be.
Yeah,
but
of course, same.
it was not that. So I think I would agree in the sense that they're definitely changing the formula a little bit, and that's refreshing.
Yeah,
It definitely
I was
a
into it.
surprise.
I was into being surprised
Yeah.
because I didn't expect to be surprised at all.
Yeah.
So good on them. I definitely need more in the Reese Witherspoon unit, I have to say.
No, I think that's good that this is like step one. We looked at her in Four Christmases, which was just like such a sad offering. And it like wasn't her fault, but it was like,
Not her fault at all.
but I think it was definitely a good launching point to go back and look at some of her other Star Vehicle
Yeah.
roles. I mean, with Sweet
I
Home
would've-
Alabama, like you instantly think of Reese. You don't think
Reese.
of anything else. I didn't
Anybody
even know
else,
anyone
yeah.
else was in the movie.
No, I know. It's Reese Witherspoon's movie. I would have never came up with the immature angle if we didn't do Four Christmases in this back to back, because her behavior, like we said, not her fault, not her fault.
Yeah.
But the characters in Four Christmases behavior, immature. Behavior in Sweet Home Alabama, immature.
I think now it'll be interesting
This is exciting.
to see the next one and see the immaturity. But I think that
I would have went just smart for Reese.
Yeah,
she's smart.
I think her immaturity gets wrapped up with a little sweetness bow, and then that's what gets thought about. But it's definitely grounded in like this, like an immaturity that you don't see with like a Sandra Bullock character, like or even J-Lo. Like you don't get immature from J-Lo.
Oh yeah, J-Lo cannot be immature. People wouldn't stand for it.
No.
They'd be like, you have a son to take care of.
Right. You're right.
Weirdo.
Right. So it's
Grow
like,
up.
this is like our first star where immaturity is like part of the fun.
Yeah, I'm interested. Maybe a little Cameron Diaz, but Cameron's is always more comedic.
I think that with Cameron though, it's more goofy. And that's different than immature.
I would defer to Goofy.
Yeah, like it's more goofy than immature. And I don't know. I'm very curious to when we do our next Reese movie next week, to see like what comes out of that one.
Yeah. Wow. Another 2002 movie for the books.
A banner year continues to offer us sweet things.
Sweet Home. Oh my God, another sweet title. The Sweetest Thing, Sweet Home Alabama.
Yum.
Like the song.
Yeah, like the song.
All right. Feel great about that one. Don't forget to like, rate, review on Apple Podcasts.
Subscribe on YouTube if you want to see us. If you want to see our heated debate with our faces, subscribe on YouTube.
If you want to see me frantically Googling from my cell phone.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. Wait, I did look up that if anybody cared, Reese Witherspoon is from Louisiana.
Noted.
That's what we weren't sure about.
Oh,
and
right.
I was like, I knew.
Yeah,
she's
you were
from
looking
New
that up a
Orleans.
while ago.
Yeah, I never got to say it. Oh my God, her birthday's a day after mine. That's so cute. I love that. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Reese.
Thanks, Reese Witherspoon. We love you.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing work.
No, yeah, we're not saying you're immature. No.
Oh, no. Melanie's immature.
Melanie Carmichael.
Melanie Carmichael.
And the other name.
Not even Melanie Scooter.
Scooter.
Is it Scooter?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
either. Their names at all.
I can't believe I waited so long to watch Sweet Home Alabama. This is when this lives and dies in the early 2000s. Like I needed to catch this. A decade ago.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm sad. Like I'm kind of sad. It's like a missed opportunity for me, honestly.
I think, you know what? This will be our last stat. I think that for both of us, I think it's just a strange movie to watch for the first time in 2021.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't. If it's
Actually, do it.
Do it, but give yourself a 24-hour cool off period before you talk about it.
Yeah, I needed another day to sit with this one.
Just sit with it and stew.
And look up the plot.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Reese.
Thanks, Reese. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
Bye.